aspect of my teaching philosophy is getting learners to be critical and reflective over their own work and others' work. This skill will be useful not only if they choose to study at university, but also in and out of the media industry. By instilling this skill in learners, it can give them a platform for professional and personal development. Putting this into practice can be difficult. One method can be giving the learners a sense of ownership over the work, and therefore a desire to improve on what they've already done. However, there are many more ways to get learners to be critical and reflective over their own work. Looking at Vallori's theories of key concept, which is simply building what the learner already knows, and then tying this in with concept mapping, allows the learners to be creative, which in itself will often make learners more willing to engage with the task than by doing something they would not find as stimulating. One example of fostering a critical and reflective mindset is through the learner's consumption of media. By teaching learners to assess a news story to see if it is factually based, or has often been coined as fake news, then setting the learners an exercise where they be asked how they know something is fake. This will build a reflective mindset, as they would have to evaluate why they thought something was not real. This would then link into a critical mindset, as it would have to provide substantiation for their claims. This is especially important in the media industry, as there are often conflicting facts and evidence. In conjunction with this, I would also ask each learner to be consistently asking why they're doing certain things, whether they are making a film, writing an essay, or creating a poster. This will foster a critical mindset, as learners will be consistently evaluating what they have been doing. As a teacher, I would also be setting an example by continuously being critical of the materials that I provide, as well as reflecting on what the learners gain from my lessons. The learners then should follow this example and start to emulate my practices. This would also be done through each learner striving to get the best from their work and their peers' work through group work, as learning is a social task, although careful behaviour management is required, so that being critical does not become self-doubting or disrespectful to others. To ensure that this does not become the case, I'll be espousing the values that BMET and many other colleges stand by: ready, respectful, and safe. The learner should always be ready to learn and therefore continuously developing a critical mindset, as well as reflecting on their behaviour. Respectfulness would be taught as having good manners, which would be incorporated into British values. The safe aspect would be following all protocol that the college and my classroom demands. This may sound like a lot on the learners. However, if there is continuous positive reinforcement and feedback, the learners should strive to attain these values, as by doing so, unknowingly further their development of a critical and reflective mindset, both in and outside of the classroom. Another method I would like to incorporate into my teaching philosophy is that I, as the teacher, will challenge the learners to find out more information by themselves. How I would do this in the classroom is to give the learners an outline of the task and what they were doing, but not give them all the information that they would need to complete the task. For example, if the student were to be researching genre as a concept, I would define what a genre was and then give examples and ask for an example of a film and what genre was from the learners in return. I would then set out a task for learners to find out what genres there were and ask them to find about each genre's conventions, tropes, then record them in a blog or sketchbook to show evidence and progress, thereby giving the learners enough information so that they understand what they're meant to do, but not so much that the tasks will be done too quickly, because I've given them all the information, and this could be called spoon feeding. This will enable the learners to search for themselves and find information that will require them to have a critical mindset, as they have to decide if what they're reading makes sense to them, as well as installing a reflective mindset simultaneously, as they would have to look back over the work and continuously critique and change what they have done. The last aspect of this approach is that I would be asking the learners, both individually and as a whole class, questions that would test the knowledge to demonstrate learning and assimilation. I would then use this as a building block for the next lesson, calling back to their previous knowledge, making them continuously reflect on what they have learnt and critically judge any new information given to them by myself or any resource that they find independently.